And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans, and Happy New Year. We are kicking off a whole new year of fun, fabulous reviews with our first tonight. And I am thrilled to welcome back to the show one of the very first authors that I interviewed all the way back in 2020. It feels like a lifetime ago. The incredible Leah Konen, here to give us the inside scoop about her brand new red hot book, racking up all the praise you should have told me. Leah, welcome back to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. First of all, I love all the work you do with all of these interviews and your focus on mysteries. It is so awesome. And you talk to all my favorite authors. So it's an honor to be here again. You Should Have Told Me is my third thriller. It is all about kind of secrets we keep from our loved ones, and it's set against the backdrop of a new mother kind of struggling with very early weeks of raising an infant. So what happens is she's trying to keep it together. Her baby isn't sleeping. She's struggling with her own feelings about everything that's happened to her. And then basically in the middle of the night, her partner just completely disappears when he was saying he was gonna feed her all night so Janie could get some sleep. She wakes up, he's gone without a trace. And then, of course, because it is a thriller and it's a mystery, the next day, a woman turns up murdered at the same bar where her partner Max was actually seen the last night that he was there. So it's all about kind of how wild those early parenthood days are, which are kind of horrific enough without any murder mysteries. But then you take that in and you add a missing partner, and it just goes, it just kind of all hits the fan.
It all hits the fan the way that only Leah Konen can make it hit the fan. And we are here to get the scoop on all the things. And we're going to dive into it because, girl, we got a lot to talk about. But first, I just want to welcome everyone who is watching. So we're going live to 6 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So no matter where you're watching from, friends, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday because Mondays can be murder. We're going to make them a little less painful for you. If you've been here before, you know the drill. And if you're new, we're so happy to have you. Here's the drill. Every Monday, I give you my handpicked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So ask Leah about this protagonist, about new motherhood, a path that she has recently traversed during a pandemic, no less. Ask her about her writing process. Leah actually segued over from writing YA books, young adult books, over here to the adult thriller world. So we got a lot to talk about. This is your time to ask this incredible author anything you want. So get right to it in the comments. We have a mystery user first up saying, hello, Sara and Leah. I'm so excited to hear more about this book. And we're excited to tell you. So, Leah, tell us about the inception point of this book. You are a new mother yourself. Were you, up late
Newish,
at night?
newish.
A
She is
new-ish
she's
mother.
3 she's 3 now, so it goes by really, really fast. But yeah, my little pandemic baby is 3. But yeah, I mean, the becoming a mother myself was the absolute inception point of this book. I basically, my daughter was born in November 2019, so, we were just, like, barely getting on our feet when the pandemic happened, and then we were, like, super isolated. And my own experience had been, you know, I was I had a very traumatic, emergency, delivery and C-section, and it was just the whole experience was very wild, and I felt just kind of lost at the beginning. I mean, I think every mother does, but between just taking care of her and everything that was going on, and I felt like I wanted to feel all these feelings that everyone was saying, like, "You should be so happy and you should be so in love." And it was really hard for me in those early months. And and also then the side note, breastfeeding was like an absolute nightmare as it is in the beginning because it was just this constant thing. So I started talking to friends and just, I shared about some of my struggles on Facebook, and a lot of people started to reach out to me and they said that they had felt the exact same way, but they were too ashamed or afraid to talk about it. Some of them said even to their own husbands or partners. And I don't know, I couldn't get that out of my head. And so then when I myself was starting to feel better, and when my daughter was kind of, like napping a little bit, and I finally had some time back to myself, I just sat down that summer, that pandemic summer, and basically like the first act of the novel kind of just poured out of me. Um, and I just imagined this woman in this situation where she's feeling all these feelings that I was and that so many of us are. And she's like, I'm not feeling the right things, and I have to take care of this baby, and she's not sleeping, and I'm freaking out, and I'm worried. And then you take all of that and you add in that the one person who is supposed to be there with you, the father, who's supposed to be helping you and is promised to be helping you, and Max in this book is a very good father, um, he just disappears. And to me, it's like, what is possibly more terrifying than that? Losing your partner disappearing is terrifying anyway, but to have it happen in this time where you feel like you're in this constant fight or flight was just kind of so, I don't know, it was just such a place I wanted to explore. And then I sent those early pages to my agent and my foreign agent, and they are both mothers, and they were like, "You have something here, like, go for this book." So I just kinda that's where it started.
I love hearing that backstory. Thank you so much for sharing. Fascinating information to hear. I love this. Okay, y'all, we're going to get to all of your fabulous comments coming on in. Diane joining us from YouTube says, "Good evening, Sarah. Good evening, Leah. Hi, Diane. Always a pleasure to see you pop up. Thanks so much for joining us." She's saying, "Congratulations on motherhood. Yay.
Thank
Congratulations."
you.
Anissa Joy, welcome to the conversation, saying, "So happy to see Leah back on the show." Hello, Sarah and Leah. Anissa is an amazing bookstagrammer over there with Anissa. She is Anissa Bookish Joy on Instagram, and she loves to read, loves thrillers. Anissa, thank you so much for joining us. So great to see your name pop up. Christina Powers, welcome to the conversation. She is at A Politically Red Girl. Fabulous to see you pop up. Hi, Christina. Happy New Year. Diane would like to know, Leah, do you have any writing rituals? If so, what are they? And I am leaning in to hear the answer.
Sometimes, like, I do to a point. So I definitely try to write in the mornings when I'm freshest. Basically, like, I take my daughter's in a really good preschool program right now, so I take her to preschool, come back, maybe get a coffee, I come back, and I try to just do the actual writing first before I answer any emails or, like, do anything promotion or anything else that I might be doing. Because I feel like, to me, the creative, the drafting is, like, the hardest part. Sarah, I don't know if you agree, but, I think it's, like, that's where it takes a lot of, like, mental and emotional energy, and so I try to just kind of do all that first before I, get to anything else. And then if I'm really stuck, I definitely, like, light, expensive candles. And I love candles. And I try to get candles when I, like, go on different trips and stuff, like the fancy ones that smell really good. So I'll do that, and I also listen to, old Hitchcock and noir soundtracks, um, because Bernard Herrmann is my favorite. He did the music for Vertigo and several other ones, and they're just super, like, dramatic and moody and creepy, and I feel like it puts me in the spirit.
Wow. So I am a huge old movie fan. I love old movies. I love Hitchcock. I love all those movies you just shared. And I'm also a candle person. I feel like as a yoga teacher, I kind of have to be a candle person. It's like required in the
Absolutely,
yoga
yeah,
rule.
absolutely.
So do you like a certain so when you say you light them, is it the ritual of lighting them that you like, where you're like, inspiration, come to me, and you light it up? Or is it the smell of the candles, or what
I
is it that you like?
it's I don't no, I don't think it's the actual ritual of lighting it, but I think just the smell and just have something flickering, and I don't know, there's something about when the candle is on, I feel that I have to stay in the room because I don't want like it to burn the house down. So I don't know, it like kind of tethers me to my desk and I'm like, okay, like I'm burning this nice candle that's only going to burn for 20 hours. So I'm going to write now, like that kind of thing. I don't do it every day. I
Ooh.
do it when
Oh,
I'm
I
like
like
really stuck, like when I'm just like, I don't want to do this, that sort of thing.
that you say it tethers you to your desk, like the lighting of it, because it's almost like setting a timer because the time is ticking.
Yeah,
The quicksand is running through the timer. You've got to get ready because the candle's going to give out soon.
totally, totally.
I love.
I would
Oh
say
my gosh. Well,
also,
thank
I
you
would
for
say
the fabulous.
the one other thing that I do is if I'm also really stuck, I just go on a quick walk around the block without my phone or without headphones or anything. And I find that when I'm not at my computer, my brain runs pretty freely. And then I come back and then I write it all down. Or I walk my
Oh,
dog.
interesting.
I know you also have an adorable terrier dog, right? You have a very similar dog to mine. So
Yes.
I walk my cute
Yeah.
little dog and the ideas flow.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So moving your body actually like gets it moving.
Yeah.
Margaret Pinard, welcome to the conversation, joining us from Portland, Oregon. She's saying, I think candles are about honoring your own worthiness. You're worth it. Your work is going to be good. Yes. I love that perspective,
I
Margaret.
love
That's
that.
really cool.
I love that.
Yay. Diane's saying she loves how you listen to old noir soundtracks. So I just want to clarify, you're talking about listening to the movies or you're talking about musical soundtracks?
Musical soundtrack. So I don't actually listen to like the
Okay.
talking of the movie, but they're pretty much all on like
Okay.
Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. And then like I said, Bernard Herrmann is my favorite composer and he did a bunch of them. Um and they're just like
Ooh.
the my go-to ones are like Vertigo, North by Northwest, this movie Marnie, which is also Hitchcock. And they're just like they're so intense and just ridiculous. And it feels like you could be writing the boring scene and it feels like, oh my God, what's gonna happen, as you're writing because it's just like it's so intense. The other trick, this is not about writing, but when we play serious board games, my husband and I, he always plays the Vertigo soundtrack and it makes the board game very, very intense and dramatic.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. This is so fun. So Vertigo, North by Northwest. North by Northwest is one of my favorite movies. Cary Grant, Eva Marie Saint, the scene of them climbing on Mount Rushmore. I mean,
There's so many
it's so
scenes. It's so
cool.
great.
Margaret saying all the screechy violins.
Yes,
LOL. Yeah, I can
exactly.
hear them in my head. Diane saying she loves noir. She loves Hitchcock. Who else is a noir fan? Let us know in the comments. Leslie joining us from Canada, giving us her signature Canadian hello. Hi, Leslie. Such a pleasure to see your name pop up. Happy New Year to you. Love to see you here. Thank you. Oh, Anissa wants to know, do you have anything special planned for your pub day? So y'all, the book's not even out. The book is not even out. Leah's coming on tonight to give us the
Coming
inside scoop of the special
tomorrow.
pre-launch event.
Tomorrow.
So what's your plan? What's your plan, Leah?
So I am totally gonna just be the most relaxed I can possibly be uh, on Earth. I don't like to plan anything for pub day. I think it's like too stressful to have to like, I don't know. I just like it to happen, and I like let the book come out into the world, and yeah. So nothing too crazy. Maybe I'll have something bubbly at night, but then I am doing for anyone who's in New York City. I am doing an awesome event, my first in-person event in years, actually, in the Lower East Side in 2 weeks. So on January 14th. And it's at PNT Knitwear. It's gonna be really fun, and all the details are like all over all my socials. So if any of you guys are nearby, please come.
Yay. I
So
love that.
yeah,
All right, everybody. So if you're in New York or know anyone who is, January 14th is the day that you can meet Leah at P&T Knitwear on the Lower East Side in Manhattan. This sounds fabulous. I'll link to that as well. Christy, welcome to the conversation, saying, I can so relate to everything you are saying, Leah. The early weeks and even months for me were incredibly hard. Yeah, Leah, thank you for talking about this, because I think part of the overall problem that we have here is the idea of keeping up images, keeping up appearances, and the pressure of, you should be happy, this should be the best time of your life. And when you have that pressure, self-imposed and culturally imposed, that you should be happy, and then you're not, the lack of alignment on what you're feeling and what you should be feeling is an additional source of stress. So you're opening up a whole conversation here about the truth about motherhood, about breastfeeding, about not feeling as happy as you should. Did that feel risky to you? Did that feel scary to say out loud? Walk
So
us through that.
it honestly, it didn't. When I was doing it, it felt so urgent and it just felt natural. So it didn't feel risky. But then, I mean, since the book has started, reviews have started to come in, and I have been surprised that there has been pushback about sharing these things, and about the idea of women complaining, and especially complaining about something that should be, um, you should be absolutely so thrilled about, and you should be almost like, Madonna and Child, kind of like an angel, a beatific angel who just only feels wonderful things. Um, so I think I was a little bit naive going into it, which I think is what needed to happen, because I just needed to get it out, and I'm really glad I did, because even when I was going back and finishing the book, and then I was going back to editing, I would go back to those early chapters that I wrote, and it would almost feel so foreign to me, because it had been so long since I actually felt that way. Because once you're out of it, you know, by the time that I was writing the rest of the book, I loved motherhood, and I was feeling great, and things were in a really good place. So I'm really glad that I didn't think about it too much, and I just kind of did it, because otherwise I think I would have tried to tone it down, and I don't think that's what I wanted to do. And I think something that was in my head a lot when I was writing was that every time we see postpartum depression, not every time, but most of the times we see it in movies and books, especially on the movie side, we what we usually see is actually postpartum psychosis, where maybe a woman is having delusions, maybe she's having fears of hurting herself or her daughter or her child. Um, and while that's completely a valid thing that does happen, it's also very rare, versus like postpartum depression and anxiety, which is extremely common, and which millions and millions and millions of people are experiencing. So I really wanted to portray that side of it. Like, I want to show a mother who, she's caring for her child as well as she can. You know that she's not going to hurt her child or anything like that. She's doing everything she's supposed to be, but because you're in her head as you're reading the novel, you're seeing and hearing these thoughts that she's having, and how scary that is. Um and I think that was just something that is, I think it's where the pendulum's swinging a bit, and more books and movies and everything are exploring that. But I think that still, when someone even says postpartum depression, I think the first thing that, like, the pop culture thing is to think about, someone who's actually like losing touch with reality. And that's just not really what the experience is for most people.
Yes. Thank you for all of this clarification and information, Leah. Um, it's really important that we're all talking about this. We have a mystery user here saying, I agreed. There is still such a stigma that the mother takes care of so much, and we're supposed to be perfectly normal and mentally and physically healthy. Yeah, that pressure is crushing. And when you're falling short of it, it's an additional level of stress. So really important conversations here that we're all having. So thank you, Leah, for opening this up and for creating a space that this is, being shared, also on your social media. Margaret saying a new mother as an unreliable narrator seems like a perfect twist. I'm just saying. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Diane would like to know, how do you decompress when you finish a book? Such a great question. Leah, give us the skinny.
So I try to just not do any writing for like 2 weeks. Like I just stop. Um Anything that has anything to do with the book. Um I think some people are able to just like stop one thing and jump into another thing and just like work, work, work. But when I finish a draft and also when I get ready to do a revision or I get notes from my editors or my agent, I have to like take it in and then just like take a week to think about it before I even go back to anything. I think like the simmering and just letting things rest is really important. I think we don't do that a lot, not just with writing, but with everything. So I really try to take the time. And I don't know what I really specifically do. I probably watch movies or go on walks or have lunches or something, but I just try to like intentionally give myself a little space.
I love that. I love that. Diane, thank you for the great question. Leah, thank you for that. Diane saying, thank you for sharing the backstory. And I think she's referring to the backstory of your book and your own experience with new motherhood as well. I'm just delayed on the comments. So thank you for that comment and all your comments and questions, Diane. And she'd like to know, what books are on your nightstand or on your Kindle?
Oh, great question. I'm actually reading Agatha Christie, The Moving Finger, which I had never seen or heard about. And I just got it at the library. And what did I just finish on my Kindle? I just finished something, which I'm blanking on. And then I have another book by Kendra. Gosh, I'm sorry, I'm like blanking on everything. Um, but there's one I can remember. I'm also reading a book called Delicate Condition, which is coming out in August, and a good friend of mine wrote it, and it is all about motherhood as well, but it's kind of a body horror from the pregnancy side. And it's a wild, wild book. So I'm reading that right now because I've read earlier versions of it, but it's finally kind of ready to go. So that's coming out in August. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that.
Ooh, I love that. Margaret would like to know, as a writer, do you have a ride or die paper, product, or office supply question? Right? Hashtag writers want to know. Yeah, tell us. What's
I
your
love
what's
that.
yours? What's your ride or die?
So I think colored note cards or post-it notes. It depends when I used to have an office where I had a space for a big bulletin board, so I would do them all, and now I don't, and I just have my wall, so I have switched to Post-it notes. Um, and anytime I'm plotting a book, I just write out every scene, and I have to be able to visualize it and get a full outline. And I also am particular about pens. My pens are Uniball Vision Elite, which are very smooth. Um, but it's really funny because I always do this note card thing, and then I had them all up because I was revising, and my daughter came in and she took them all down, and then she's like, she starts putting all these sticky cards to the wall, and she said, "I'm writing a book like mommy." And I was like, "I love this so much." She's so
Oh,
she has already
yay.
learned the note card plotting method at 3, so
Train them young, Leah. Train them young. Oh my gosh, I love
totally.
that. I love that. So, y'all, the book is out tomorrow. It's not even out. Leah is coming on early tonight to give us the inside scoop in this very special pre-launch event. And you can grab your copy here at our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. So grab your copy here. So whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, here is that link. and you are going to want to grab your copy of You Should Have Told Me, and then hop on over to the Mystery and Thriller Mavens Facebook group so that we can continue the conversation. All the good tea is spilled, and you can chat about this book and all of your books. So here's the link to grab your copy, and the good folks at Murder by the Book will send it to you tomorrow as soon as the book drops. So grab your copy right now. Here's the link. Let's get back to some of these fabulous questions. I'm loving this conversation, you guys. Thank you. Helen is sharing she loves Hitchcock. She's always loved his films. Helen, welcome to the conversation. Great to have you. I totally agree. Hitchcock is such a genius, and now all these decades and years later, still maintaining his throne as the king of suspense.
Helen
Susan wants to know.
Helen happens to. Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say.
No. Go ahead. Tell me.
Helen happens to be my own mother who got me into Hitchcock, so she's the reason. She's the reason for it.
Oh my gosh, here we have Helen. I didn't even look at your last name, Helen. I see now you're a Konen. Good to know who we can credit Leah's fondness for Hitchcock to. Mama Helen. Helen, great to have you in the house. Thank you so much. Okay, Susan wants to know, Leah, have you ever scared yourself while writing?
Wow, that is a great question. Somehow I've never been asked that before. I ever scared myself? I don't think so, but there are things that I am not able to write because they're too close. Like, for example, a great one is that I will never write something bad happening to a dog or a child. That's just like, it's completely off the table for me, because I think if I did, it would make me far too sad, and no one wants to read that anyway. So
I remember when I first hosted you way back in 2020, I was reading your first adult book, All the Broken People. And I was so terrified that something was going to happen to the dog. And I remember asking you, Leah, I need to know if anything's going to happen to the dog, because I'm actually going to have to stop reading. I cannot read violence to animals.
No, me
and
either.
You were like, Sarah, I promise you, I will never harm an animal. And since then, Leah, we have that trust. I'm going to hold you to it. I'm going to hold you to it. I love that. Kimberly, welcome to the conversation. She says, Leah, if you could have a writing nook with your candles and your soundtrack anywhere in the world, where would it be? Oh, I love that question, Kimberly. Tell us, Leah.
So, the answer is pretty boring, just because it would be where I am now in the Catskills in upstate New York. I love writing here. I get to, from where I am right now, I get to look out at the mountains, and most of my books are set here. So it's really wonderful to be able to write here. But there is, I would say my dream thing is that there is this like outbuilding shed on our property that used to be like something from the old owners, and it needs to be fixed up, and nothing has been done with it, and it's low on the list of things that we're going to do. But one day it is going to be my little in the woods little writing shack, and I'm very excited about that.
Oh my gosh, a she shack. I love it.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
I love it. Okay. So, fun fact about Leah, she has a secret talent for renovating things. Like, she has this secret designer talent. She and her husband renovated their own bathroom. They've done like all this really cool design work, and I'm watching with fascination on their social media, because I'm like, how are you doing that? It's so cool. So I can't wait to see what you someday do with your she shack.
One day,
I love that.
Probably
Diane
many
saying
years
she
from
loves
now.
candles. You never know, Leah. You never know. Well, we will look forward to that day. Diane saying she loves candles too. The scents have to be fragrant. I love candles. There's something so soothing about that. She's saying she also loves that you listen to old noir soundtracks. Me too. I'm going to have to start doing that. That sounds so cool. And just want to make sure I don't miss any. Leslie saying she loves noir. Very cool. Anissa saying you deserve bubbly on your pub week. Absolutely, Leah. You got to pop that open. Christina. She wants to know, Leah, where did the title evolve from, and was it easy to come up with?
Great question. And hi, Christina. I don't think titles are ever easy to come up with. That always takes forever, and I have a hard time. And usually, I actually don't. I'm not the one. I rarely work with my original title, and it was the case with this one as well. The original title was going to be the night feeding because that's kind of the impetus of everything. Is that her husband promises to feed the baby that night, and disappears. But it was feeling to everyone like way too horror and just not right. But I wanted to do something that had impact and power, but also felt like something that you would actually naturally say. Um, and I think the phrase "you should have told me" is something that you could say. What I liked about it is it's something you could say to a partner, but it's also something you could say to a child. Uh, you know, with a little bit of a different spin on it. So I think it represents definitely the secrets that Max and Janie are keeping from each other, but it also represents this idea that people will be there for you if you feel comfortable telling them what's going on with you. And I think that's part of Janie's journey is learning that she doesn't have to fight all these thoughts and everything that's going on completely alone. And part of her journey in the book is to open up to the people who do love her and are around her and ready to support her.
I love that because it's so true. It's sometimes the scariest thing to open up and to share that thing that feels hard or vulnerable or scary or just hard in whatever way. And yet it's the best thing to do in the end. So I love all the multi-layered um explanations of the backstory of the title. So Christina, thank you for the question that just opened up that whole conversation. And Leah, thank you for that fabulous answer. Okay. Crack Hour says they have a question. They would like to know, I would definitely have XXX with the dead left body. So I think they're talking about when the body is found at the bar, um, the day after the husband disappears. Tell us about that moment.
So there is basically a woman is at this bar, and she is unknown to Janie, the main character. Um, but part of the part of the story is her kind of just trying to learn who this woman was. And I wanted to make it very careful not to. I think it's just so easy to be like the other woman, and it's all these cliches about a man was at a bar with another woman, and your head immediately goes into certain directions. And I wanted for this woman to really have her own story and her own reasons for being there. So I don't want to give away too much, but I would say a big part of the book is kind of just Janie discovering who that woman was. And it turns out that she is a mother too. And so connecting kind of with this woman, even though she's gone.
Yeah, because when you leave a body, you're leaving the body in a certain place because you're leaving a message to the reader. And the killer is also leaving a message to whoever they're speaking to. So whether it's, the police or whatever, when, the body X marks the spot in more ways than one, like it's always more meaningful how the body is killed, how not the body, how the victim is killed and where the body is left, both as in, within the context of the story and as you as a writer writing that moment. So thank you for that. Leslie saying, sadly, society can't handle the truth. I think 2023 should be about being real, talking and opening up about things that we conceal. I love that. I love that. So you're talking about Janie, you should have told me, opening up to the people about her motherhood feelings. Diane saying, thank you for your transparency, Leah. Helen saying she agrees with Margaret. Absolutely. Margaret, I totally agree. Okay, y'all, we are actually over our time, but the conversation is so good. We've had so much to talk about. Diane's asking, the writer that you were thinking of, is it Kendra Elliott?
Yes. Yes,
the
thank
who's
you.
on your book stand.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Whoa, you guys are vibing. I love it.
Yeah, I love that.
Diane is thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Leah, for this conversation. Y'all, thank you for joining us for this fabulous conversation. Um, Yay. Oh, Christina wants to know, Leah, have you listened to the audiobook? What do you think of it if you have?
So I haven't listened to it, but, we purposely chose my favorite narrator from The Perfect Escape, my last, thriller. So The Perfect Escape followed 3 women, so there was 3 different narrators, but, this one, Carissa Backer, she's incredible, and she was my favorite, and so, when Penguin Audio approached me and said that we could work with her again, I was like, "100%, let's go." So, I haven't listened to it, but I have no doubt that it is just fabulous because she does such a great job with her books.
Yay. I love that you listen to them and that the voice works well for you because it's your words they're reading. It's your
I have
story.
a
It's your
sorry,
characters. It's their
I
world. I mean,
yeah, I have a friend who is only read she's like a voracious reader, but she only reads audiobooks, and she's one of my closest friends from college, so every time this comes around, I send her all the names and I'm like, "You are the expert, you tell me what sounds good to you." So I go right to the source, to people who listen to audiobooks all the time.
yay. Diana is clapping for that. Thank you for clapping. Michael saying, hello, Sarah and Leah from Arizona. I love this author. I have all of her books. Yay. She's so great, isn't she? Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much for all the fabulous questions. Helen saying you should have told me prompts a next question. Exactly. Such a good point. Diane saying she loves the idea of a writing nook on your property. Hashtag she shack writing nook. I love that. She's saying she loves that. She loves that title too. I know the title is so great. Christy says she just pre-ordered and she can't wait to get her
Thank
copy. Yay,
you. Thank
Christy!
you
We can't
so
wait to
much.
hear what you think about it. Leslie saying, thank you for this. Yes, absolutely. Oh, Diane wants to know, how do you plot? So you're in a writing group with some other thriller writers. Are you a plotter? Or are you a pantser? Give us the scoop on your plotting.
So I am a plotter, but it does change usually several times throughout drafting. But I have to have it all planned out. So I usually have a large part of the idea comes to me. I think for this one, I think a lot of it came on it was like because it was in the pandemic, I was doing these ridiculously long runs because there was like nothing else to do. So I was going on really long runs and I think my mind was just wandering and I started to think about what could have happened. So I basically have like all the seeds of the idea and then I truly like I get my note cards and I use this screenwriting book actually called Save the Cat, which just plots out like beat by beat what you would find in most stories. And so I use that as a jumping off point. It's not rigid, but and things do change a lot because it's a mystery, but I definitely have to have something there to know where I'm going.
Thank you for that answer. Leslie saying, thank you so much for this. Christina saying, I'm super excited and I will be listening tomorrow. Absolutely. Oh, Diane wants to know, do you have any input into the cover? So I love to hear the story about the cover and the story of the title. So
Yes.
tell us about the cover.
Yes. So I do. So they let me see. Let me get where is my camera? There it is. So it's a woman opening a door and so basically my publishers they had kind of a vibe that they've been going for with the last 2 books and they wanted to kind of keep in that same zone. So they had and then they really wanted to put a person on the cover and I agreed because it's a very, personal book and it's all about Janie. So they actually sent me an image with a woman opening a door and I didn't think it was quite there. Like, it was really good, but it just wasn't quite what I was imagining. So I sent them back some different ideas where I thought, here's some covers I like where you have a woman on the cover, but I don't know, there's a little bit more moodiness there. And then they came back with this, and I loved it from the moment I saw it. I love the colors. I love the red behind the door. I love just I don't know, it really captured to me kind of like when you are you have that baby and they're screaming and you kind of have this dread when you go to like go get them again when they're crying because it's so hard to listen to a baby cry. And so it kind of like really encapsulated that for me as in addition to all the other mystery elements, like she's kind of this woman kind of walking through this door with a bit of trepidation was just I loved that.
Thank you for the great question, Diane, and thank you for that great answer, Leah. I'm so happy you love it because I think someone creating the visual representation of your work is such a vulnerable process. Like, do you get it? Do you get it? Will this convey the message to readers? Do I feel that this correctly and accurately reflects the world I have created? Does this resonate with me? Does it visually look like and feel like what I want it to feel like in here in my heart and my head? And so I love that it does and that it worked, because it matters. And so I'm so happy that you're happy with it and that you love it on so many deep levels. Diane saying you're welcome. She loves Kendra's books. Yay. Michael saying his copies arrive tomorrow. Exactly. They're out tomorrow and they arrive tomorrow. So everybody grab your copy. I posted the link again right here in the comments, no matter where you're watching from, Facebook or YouTube. And I'm also sharing all of these fabulous reviews. We don't have time to go through them all, but Katie Gutierrez, Samantha Downing, Andrea Bartz, the list goes on and on. Oh, a mystery user would like to know, Leah, do you choose the pub date? If so, is there a specific reason that you chose tomorrow?
I do not. My publisher does, and they have all sorts of reasons, I'm sure. But all books come out on Tuesdays, so it's always gonna be a Tuesday. And basically, The Perfect Escape came out in January last year, and it did really well. And everyone kind of it's in the book was in Target, and this book is as well, which is really exciting. So I think it's just like a time when it's January, people are going out, they're like catching up on stuff, they're maybe returning some of their, stuff they got over the holidays, it's not working. And I think it's actually a really great time. I think a lot of people set intentions and goals to read more in January. And so
Yeah.
I love I love having it. I love kind of coming out this time of year. The only thing I don't love is that you have to do that you end up having the holidays, you're like so worried about all this pub stuff. That's the one thing I don't love about it. But
Right.
other than that, I think it's a great time for it to come out.
Yay. Well, y'all, here is that link one more time. So grab your copy tonight, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching with. Here is the link. Grab your copy, support our woman-owned independent bookstore, our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore, Murder by the Book. We are way over our time, but there has been so much juice to chat about. We are not going to shortchange anybody because this is a good conversation right here. Diane, thank you so much for all of your questions. Christina saying, thank you, everybody. It's so great to have you. Y'all, that is a wrap for this Mystery Monday. I will be back next week. Leah Konen, thank you for coming back to join us. And we will see you next year
Thank
when
you.
your next book is out or whenever your next book
Yeah,
comes out.
it will be next year. And Sarah, thank you so
Yay.
much for putting this together. And Murder by the Book, thank you like for sponsoring. It's that you guys are the best bookstore. And seriously, thank you for all the great questions and all the great conversation. It is so awesome to hear from readers, and I can tell that you all just adore thrillers and mysteries. And so it's a treat to be here and to talk with you.
Yay. I have to say, we have such an amazing community here. Some of these books have been with me the whole 3 years. Some are new. I've seen some new names pop up tonight. It's been so wonderful to meet all of you. We're all connected by our love of mysteries and thrillers and authors and reading. And we love to talk about books and nerd out about the writing process. That's what we're all here for. And I love my community. I love us. We're the yay us. This is seriously the best group. So thank you all for joining us. And I will see you next Monday for #Mystery Monday because Mondays can be murder. See you then, guys.
Bye.